time's it? 7:45. Is that working? I'm not so sure. It's that time, isn't it? It's like tea time. It is midweek as well. Yeah, if you join the stream, just say hello or something in chat, just to give me a clue that people have joined. I'm just having a quick look to see if the stream health and what have you. While I think ahead, let me just turn the sound down so the echoing is not too bad. There we go. Well, we got one like already. That's a good start. Live viewers, let's just go to chat. Hello! Hey, it's Retro Game Revival. Hi, Dennis. Northwich Hydrophonic Centre Limited. Hi. Hi. Turbos. Hello. Hi. Right, so we've got a few people joined there. It's a bit like the last couple of these streams I've done on the Atari Lynx here. It's just going to be showing you some of the changes I've done and doing a bit of testing and maybe a few small changes to try and fix the last few little things here. I don't think I'm going to be able to squeeze much more out of this now because I've done an awful lot more optimization since the last two videos, and I ran out of bytes again, so I ended up reducing the stack size in order to include a piece of nice to have functionality that I wanted to do right from the beginning, but just didn't have the RAM at the time. So I'll show you that, which again, everything's subject to change here. I'm not going to perhaps leave everything exactly as it is. Let me just keep an eye on where I'm messaging. There we go, right, hang on. Happy coding, actually live, cool. Hi, yeah, nice to see you. Nasty Atari, hi. Anthony Lee Dickinson, hi dude, what you doing? Yeah, so playing around with the Atari Lynx again here, some development. CC65, so this version of Alien that I wrote back in 2012. I did it in a couple of weeks and it showed. The whole thing was thrown together within 2 weeks and there was so much bad code there, lack of optimization, loads of just ridiculous things really, lots of things in line instead of having functions and things like that, and yeah, it was pretty inefficient. It ran really slow in places. I think that's safe to say. Yeah, cat's driving me nuts again here, Rosa. So yeah, where I was up to there, I've added, you can see here, mode computer. So I always wanted, or I envisaged, the computer room. I'm trying to think I can show you. I can show you the map actually. It's just, I think you can see the desktop here. Yeah, you can. If we just go into Alien, we go to floor. I forget which floor it is now. Is it floor 1E? Oh, yeah, it's that one. It's very small. Let me just zoom that. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, the computer room is situated there on level 1. And you can see from the movie that 108 Stars did quite a good job of using such a small space there to actually replicate the sort of look and feel with the beige sort of colouring. It had those like padded things around the walls, didn't it, and stuff, and then the computer terminal sort of embedded within there. And what I wanted to do is the similar thing that we did with the Narcissus, or something similar. And if I show you the Narcissus, and if you're not familiar, the Narcissus is the escape shuttle. Yeah, something like that, sort of like a full screen image or something, and have some interaction with it. That was my whole aim to do with the computer room, but we ran out of space. I couldn't accommodate an image. I perhaps am not good enough to create something as good as that. 108 Stars did that. And obviously the interactive things, I was thinking about things like a crew dossier, and I don't know, I might add some more things. I'll show you what I've done in a minute, but anyway, now I can actually fit that in there. I've been able to fit that in there. With the optimizations I've done, I've been able to squeeze it in. Stu Roro, this best be good. Johnny Depp case verdict is about to happen. Does anybody really care about that, honestly? I just couldn't care what's going on with these celebrities suing each other for 50 million quid and all that. Spitfire RAF 100, evening gadget chat. Hi, nice to see everybody here. Good evening from my daily walk by the way. Franco Walker, hi gadget, hi Franco. So we go back to the code. If I can find it, it's quite distracting having all these windows. Here we go. So what I was doing here is just trying to get the fading working. Now I worked out, I think that's right. So fade palette. So what I have here is you've got palettes on the Atari Lynx. Let's just talk about that for a sec, because it might be useful. It might help people if they want to. Might even influence someone to start looking at development on this, on the Lynx. I'm trying to think where they are now. Sprite structures, I think. Yeah, there we go. So you have this basic structure here, which is just a sequence of bytes, that define the palettes. You've got 16 colours. Sorry, I've got echo and it's put me off again. 16 colours on the Lynx, and you have a really unusual number of bytes. So you've got 32 bytes to define 16 colours. And I think the way it works is green has a byte of its own, and then blue and red are merged into a byte. So you've got 4 bits in each half of that byte, 2 nibbles. I think that's right. So I think those bottom ones there are probably red and blue, and I think that first one is green. But anyway, the bottom line is you've got these palettes. You can obviously specify using the 2 bytes for each colour there what colour each palette entry is. And I've got multiple palettes here because we've got multiple images coming from different sources. So like the title screen is different to perhaps the photograph of Alice Chalice, which is different to the enhanced palette for the main graphics, the maps and the avatars and things that 108 Stars did. And it's the same with the C64 one. So we've got like enhanced palettes and default palettes, one for the C64 version if you like, one for the Lynx version for the different types of palettes throughout the game. But it dawned on me very early when I was looking at this, it's quite easy to create things like a palette fade effect, because you could just interact with that palette. You can change the palette very quickly. There's literally no or very little time used to change the palette. Some people actually change the palette on a H blank. Yeah, you could get halfway down the screen and is that a H blank? V blank? Yeah, change the palette halfway down the screen. I always get V blank and H blank mixed up. Horizontal is that way, isn't it? V blank is the other way. So yeah, you can interact with these palettes quite easily. So yeah, it dawned on me you could adjust the level of the green. That's the easiest one. Yeah, you could just literally on every iteration of the calling the palette fade routine, you could just reduce it by a bit every single time, and that's going to reduce the green. And obviously it's the same with the blue and the red that emerge, but obviously you've got to separate them or operate on them at a bit level, so that you do one half of the byte first and the other half. It's not quite the same as just reducing the overall value, is it? Because they then have a relationship. But anyway, the palette fade routine just works like that, and I've not used this in ages since I wrote it, so I was just trying to use it in a few places, and it seemed to be logical to use it on the computer screen. So if I just show you this, we'll try to see if this works now. I think that's right. So my routine just needs a pointer to the palette, I think. Oh, hang on, it's got to be. You've got to index the first byte there. That's it. Let's rebuild that. Let's just try it. Got a problem there. Cannot subscript. I could have sworn that that's the right way of doing it. Oh yeah, sorry, I've got the name of the method there, haven't I? There's actually a palette called fade palette. It gets confusing when you name, there it is, fade palette, when you name things the same way. So let's just compile that. Let's have a quick look at chat. I only use a hardware guru, pleasant surprise when I discover the next videos with your content. Thanks, appreciate it. The whole aim with this is once I've got past this, I'm going to do a version of Aliens, as I mentioned, Trouble Lynx, but then I want to try and port these to something else that CC65 supports, so either the NES or the C64. And it'd be a bit strange putting them on the C64 because these games technically already exist on the C64, but I kind of fancy wanting to do that. I want to have a play around with the SIM and just see how easy the process might be to port some of these that way. I think it'd be quite cool to play them on the NES as well, actually. So Dave's gaming. Hi everyone. Not seen you in a while, Dave. It's cool to see you here. First time catching live. Hi Dave. It's my second time vlog. Do you do assembly language? Yeah, where I can I'm doing little bits of assembly language, and I'm going to need to do more of that, definitely. I mean, I'll show you the highlight of my assembly language I've been doing today. That compiled in, let's just stop that. One of the things I've been doing today, it's a good opportunity to explain some more of the optimizations. So one of the problems I've been having with this, and I don't know that we talked about in the last stream, but strings. A string, you know, it's just a sequence of characters that are terminated with a null terminator. So when you think about things in terms of the actual hexadecimal values, it looks like this. So you've got fire alarm there, that's your ASCII plain text, yeah, and then the hexadecimal is there. And then you have, I've not got one there, I've got space on the end, 20 is a space, but you'd have 0, 0. So in the computer's memory, if you've got a string, that's what you've got. You've got a bunch of characters terminated with 0, 0. So you would think that where I am outputting a string, in terms of the compiler, what I was expecting is you've got that constant, yeah, that the compiler's going, oh, you've got some constant string there within quotes, yeah, so it's going to use that amount of RAM, that's going to be stored somewhere, you know, in RAM when it gets linked and stuff, and that's how much space it would take. Incorrect. The other thing is, the other assumption with that, I thought in the code you can specify, and we talked about this last stream as well, you can specify the segment. So you've got different segments, yeah, different areas of RAM where I'm putting different things. So I got some code that is doing nothing but outputting the computer room screen, yeah. I specified at the start of that, before that code there, to say stick this in its own little block of RAM along with the data. So the data should go into the same place. So you would think that when you have a string there that's output within that that screen code in that special area that you've defined, that segment, you'd think that that string would be in that segment. It isn't. It doesn't do that. It goes into the overall row data, read-only data, and BSS areas, I think. And the net result is, instead of being, let's just count that there, instead of being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bytes, you end up with something like 2 or 3 times that amount, just by virtue of the fact you've got that string there. And of course, as you'll see in a minute, there's lots of text in the computer screen, and I've had to actually cut back considerably because of the issues here. But so I was trying to find a way to try and reduce the footprint there, try and find some other way to display text without it taking a crazy amount of space for every single string. And the easy way to do that was a little bit of assembly, and it's not really assembly because there's no opcodes and things. It's just data, but it's an ASM file here that you can see I've defined. I've got an exporting the variable name there, computer strings. It's in the segment I want it, and this is the thing. So that string before, or previously, these strings, they were put into the common shared, the always resident, if you like, memory, and that resident memory was filling up with all these blooming strings, and it was just making things run out of space. Well, meanwhile, I had plenty of space in this dedicated segment that I set up for the code. So now, doing it this way, we can specify these going to this code for row data segment, and just declare them like this, as separate bytes. So that's more or less what I've been doing. I've been going in here, copying like this, and I could write some code to do this, write a bit of C# or something, that would make it super easy. Pasting it in there like that, copying this first bit, and just going like this, going, oh, there's a byte, there's another byte, there's another byte, a byte. You can imagine how long this has took me. It's took me like all afternoon doing this. I've got a spinning head from looking at bytes so much. Yeah, so that's the highlight of the bit of assembly, if you can call it that, I've been doing today. Anyway, let's just delete that because I've done that one already. So I've got all my strings defined that way so that they can be separated. And the beauty of doing that within segments is it means that when we load the computer room, as you'll see in a minute, I can literally dump an area of code, because I'll show you, I've got a large block and I've got a small block, so you've got and you've also got a main controlling block. So yeah, simple terms, let me just see if I can draw it on Notepad. You've got oh god, that's a small window, let's just increase it. Yeah, you've got main block, always resident, yeah, and then below that you've then got what I call a large block that can be paged in and out, and then below that you've also got sub or small block, let's call it small block, which is about K, I think. So that main block, as I say, is always resident. So I don't know, it's something like 8K. So you've got 8K of code there that's got common code, common functions, common variables, all the standard stuff that you need to draw the screen and all that sort of stuff. And then we can page in and out a large block into I don't know, it's about 4K, it might be 8K. And there's different blocks for different things. I covered that a lot in the previous videos. If I just shoot to the top here, you can see them here. So and the sizes as well. So yeah, in that large block, they all start 17FF after some of the graphics and things end. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that could be loaded into that. The largest being 3087. Let's just get a calculator up. I'll just tell you exactly what that is. It's not quite 8K, is it? It's about 4K or something, or 3K, I don't know. It's more than 3K actually. 12K, it's quite a lot. Oh, I'm going nuts. 12K. So yeah, so the largest block there is 12K in that large block. And the smaller ones, the largest one now is 9D9. These have changed an awful lot. But yeah, so the benefit of being able to move those strings into the relevant place means that instead of them being in up here, in the always resident stuff, in that first block there, that's let's say always resident, because why would you want things that you're only using at a certain point in time to be there eating RAM the whole time? You don't. And this is the advantage of using these segments, but also the advantage that I discovered today in defining your data like this for strings, putting the null terminator on yourself and not actually using a string as such. All you do then is any string methods and things that output strings to display and stuff, you just give them the pointer to that data, and this it's quite happy it works that way. But you haven't then got the overhead of the C having to manage a string and the stack usage and all the rest of it. So anyway, that was a hell of a lot of waffle, wasn't it? Let's just go back to computer again. I need to see if that fade's working. I know we compiled it, but that was the point. It was just out. Let me just check comments. Sorry, I'm going to be missing lots of questions and things here. So just scrolling back a bit, I only knew use I've missed on that bit. I love mods, got an Amiga 600 wired to Raspberry Pi with memory hacking tools, acts like action replay by hacking memory addresses. Shame they only did action replay for 500. Yeah, I'm surprised no one's made a modern one of those actually. It'd be nice to recreate the action replay. Terrible Fire, howdy. Oh, hello Stephen. Anthony Lee Dickinson, are you a hacker? I guess programmers, technically called hackers. I've done a little bit of hacking in my time, but ethical hacking, working out how to hack things. For example, when I first got involved, it was just following when I studied some of this stuff in microprocessor architecture at the Open University, and I followed on with doing emulators at the time. I wrote an NES emulator. And around that time, I then thought, I'd like to be able to understand how some of these hacks work myself. So I started looking at hacking basic Win32 executables, and back then it was incredibly easy actually. The first game I ever managed to hack myself, and I owned the original copy for the record, was Virtua Fighter. I might even do a video on it at some point. You could do it yourself really, really easily. It's a case of opening the executable. If you look at the CD for Virtua Fighter, find it was probably like Virtua Fighter PC.exe or something, the exe in the root of it, and load it into either a hex editor or disassembler is what I used originally. and what was it? It came up with a no CD message. If you didn't have the CD in the drive, yeah, all the check was to see if the CD was there. It was checking the label, I think. There might be something else it was looking for, but basically that check popped up with there's no CD in the drive. Please insert the CD. So I just searched through for that message, found it, and then went back a couple of bytes before that and looked for a jump, a conditional jump. I forget what it was. Is it 74 in x86's machine code? I think it is. I think it's 74 is a branch not equal maybe. But anyway, I found that and I changed it to 90, which is a NOP. And then I ran the XC. That was it. Protection defeated. It was that easy. But you know what? Moving on from that, you got all sorts of really complex protection schemes. As the PC CD-ROMs and things start to get copied, and this is around the time perhaps Saturn and Sony brought protection systems and things into their systems. The PC stuff started to get more and more secure. You had things like Secure Lock and various others. They did all sorts of stuff where you'd have like a virtual machine running some code. So it's like it loaded the code, and then it'd be packed. It'd depack it, make sure the checksum's not changed, and then stick something somewhere in memory, and you have like a VM thing running where the code, your main code, would interact with that, and it would pass back, code to run and stuff, rather than it just being all in this single exe. You'd use DLLs, and you'd have things cross-checking each other, and all sorts of really complex from there on. So yeah, that was it for me. I was like, I had enough of this. I could spend all the rest of my life trying to work out how some of these protection things work. What else we got? Hi Dave, it's my second time, lol. Dave. Oh, Dave's Game Room. Yeah, check out Dave's Game Room. I've not seen a new video on his channel for a while, but yeah, I've been a subscriber to Dave's Game Room for quite a while. He does the odd little mods and repairs and things like that to his machines. So it's 24-bit colour squished in 16-bit. No, the Lynx is 12-bit colour, isn't it? Is it 4-4? Yeah, 4-4-4-12. Hello, what's for tonight's action? Yeah, just doing some messing around with C and testing this. Music is too loud to hear you. So is it? It shouldn't be. Let's just load that again. Oh, right, I see what you mean. Yeah, it is a bit loud there. Let me just turn that down. I wonder if it's because I've turned the mic down. If I turn the volume... Can you hear me now? Hang on. Right, can you hear me better? I'm just wondering if it's recording. That's still a bit loud though, isn't it? Yeah. It's recording the sound as it's played out, more or less. Probably still a little bit loud. Let's go down one more. How's that? So I'm talking over that. Please let me know if that hang on, stop now. But let me know if that volume level's okay. Get into refuge. Hi gang. Yeah. So I've got a correction to make as well. So I'll miss lots of messages here, haven't I? Dave, not Dave. What's he called? Retro Game Revival, Dennis. Yeah, I made a mistake on that last stream. When I was saying your code is in there, it isn't. I've put it somewhere else. The actual code that was shown, it's actually code from Carry. I don't know how I didn't spot it. It's because it's very similar. In fact, if I just show you that, if I just go back up to the top of Constance. Yeah, it was this section here. And I thought this was the bit manipulation stuff that you gave me, but it isn't. It's a similar kind of bit manipulation stuff to do with the actual addresses of registers. Yeah, and that came from Carry. But yeah, I've got your code. I haven't been able to implement that yet, but I will use that. I might have it on here somewhere. Let's just have a quick look. No. I can show you a few other Lynx things as well while we're here, actually. But anyway, let's just do what I was trying to do. Getting totally distracted over and over. So I was trying to test the fade here, wasn't I? So this should go, I think, straight into the computer room mode. And it didn't, it crashed, that's good. Let's just see if I can work out what's going on there. That makes no sense at all. Let's just get rid of the fade palette stuff in case that's something to do with it. Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, it's in the segment. That segment there, that's loading a main block of code into segment 1, and it just happens to contain that fade palette. So I was trying to run it before it was actually resident. But you see, it doesn't give you any clues. This is the thing, you've got to be really on the ball when you're doing this. And this is one of the reasons why, when I'm developing with this, it's a bit like the way I do some of my repairs, like Neo Geo repairs in particular. It's like, fix a bit, test it, fix a bit, test it. It's like that with this. I have so many iterations of compiling it and running it. Again, I've seen this screen hundreds of times today, because most of my time today I spent on this. Yesterday, obviously, I've been getting on with my main work and stuff. Yeah, that's work, but that has faded so much you can't even see it. Right, let's just cancel that. Which is interesting, because we only called it once. That is really strange. Let's just try it one more time. Yeah, that count set to 0. It should literally be hardly faded, that. So it's strange that it's nearly not visible. Hello from Chile, hi. 10 times better, that's good. Yeah, sorry about that. The funny thing is, I left the volume exactly as it was on the last stream, yet somehow we ended up with it being loud again. So, I'll click start, skip that. I get the impression I might have to disable this fade stuff until... Yeah, you see that's just too faded, you can't see it at all. Right, let's just disable it and you can see it as it was. It's another one of these things where I wrote this routine in 2012 and I look at it now, I'm like, why the hell did I write it the way I did it? You know, I did it in such a way that you got to keep calling it. So you call fade palette, yeah, you point it towards the... Oh, hang on, I know what's going on. I've worked it out. Yeah, I'm fading the wrong palette. It's funny how you can see things like that when you're suddenly commenting something out. It's like, I know what the issue is. Yeah, that should be master palette, I think. Master palette E for enhanced. Yeah, and I'll need to change that so that it's specific to whether you're running C64 graphics or Atari. But let's try that now, that should be right. Yeah, I was passing it the wrong palette. What you do is you pass it a pointer to a palette, it fades that palette into another object called fade pal, and then you assign that palette. So what I always do is passing it the wrong thing, is passing it the thing it's already working on. Which is why it was so damn dark. There's like literally no palette. Ugh. Still can't see it. Maybe that didn't compile. Let's just do clean. Save all. Passing it master pal E. And then we're setting the fade palette. That should be right. Terrible fire. My ears damaged for life after the first boot. It can't have been that bad because I didn't adjust the volume from the previous stream. I don't know. Yeah, that was a difference. You see the alien head comes on. Yeah, that fading is not working, is it? Let's just comment it out. We can revisit it in a bit. It's strange how that's not working, but in fact we can get rid of those two now as well. Yeah, that was the other point I was trying to make. Instead of calling it the way it is at the moment and having to pass set a counter value and use a timer with it, we're better off all wrapped up with inside the code and having maybe some overloads or something, different ways of calling it depending on how you want it to work, or pass some parameters for the timing and all that sort of stuff. So I might redo that, but this should display properly now, unless I've broke it. Yeah, there we go. So, right, that works. I'm just going to comment that out and we'll just go and test it the way it's supposed to work. Mode, computer. Yeah, I just hard coded at the start there. Instead of starting the game, it went into that screen. But the key is just to test it in, in the way it's supposed to be accessed within the game, and that's from the computer room. So start that again. Oh, start that again. Skip that. Oh, you program a video game? Yes, this is just trying to finish this off. Really, there were just some things I never felt I was happy with. Oh, look at that's convenient. We're in the computer room, and that is totally fluke. So if we do use computer, yeah. So the music I might get rid of. I don't know. You'll have to let me know your thoughts on that. It's popcorn, isn't it? Is it? Who created that? Was it? Sounds like that French guy, doesn't it? Michael. What's he called? Can't remember his name. Michael Jarre, is it? But anyway, yeah. So I got this computer screen. I've tried to do the best I can with like a flickering thing and a scan line effect. It looks a bit naff, but it's not bad for a few hours of work. And then as you tap, you can see you interact with it. So like login Ripley, and depending on who's logging in, the character you're using is depend what comes up there. So they can each log in like that, and you just step through that. Welcome Ripley, and then you get this little menu here, and this is the bit I need to flesh out a bit more, but I'm at the situation where I've run out of bytes again at the moment, so I need to juggle things around again. But you can go into crew dossiers, and you've got a little cursor there to go up and down, so select Ash. So yeah, very limited amount of information that I'm able to display there, but based on the fact I've got no RAM left again. So that again was taken from information that's based on this like online and stuff. That's more or less what comes up I think in one of the films as a science officer file under repair, because I think presumably they're trying to say there's something wrong with his file, that's why you can't access it, but actually it's restricted because he's an android. Yeah, and very little on the others apart from the job title and then their stats, and again I think that comes from like the film, so I should exit that. And again, I was hoping to do more on the communications bit, but again, I've run out of bytes, so I don't know, I might need to maybe create another segment and juggle certain parts of the computer section into a segment of their own. So again, you just press a thing there, key there. It says request clarify science inability to utilise alien. Again, I've had to summarise the original dialogue there, I cut the odd word out, otherwise it just won't fit. There's just not enough bytes. So I think this was the point in the film where Ripley's trying to request, ask why the science guy hasn't been able to get rid of the alien. And then she sends that message. The reply is unable to clarify. And she puts an override code or something in to get more information. And the reply comes back, special order 937, return organism crew expendable. So I left that in. And then we've got a status thing that does work here. I want to try and add a bit more to this. It tells you whether the airlocks are working or not, self-destruct, and the Narcissus, the escape shuttle. And that's it for that, but you can interact with it as many times as you want. You can go in and out of it. It'd be nice to try and add something more in it. What I was trying to do was add the full version of Pong. If I just close that down, and I might still be able to do it yet, like on the menu entry there, number 4, Pong, and that might be where that music kicks in, I don't know. If I just load Handy, release, yeah, you can see I've got all the code for Handy here. Yeah, you can see that there. This is where the music came from Carrie, which is why I call the OS Carrie 1.0, is it? He's a cracking guy. He's one of the guys that actually developed CC65 and continues to develop and support it. But yeah, it's not especially large, the code here, and it's really elegant and well designed the way he's done it. It's quite small and optimal, but I just don't have enough space for that little bit of code. I've got the music there in one segment, but I've not got enough space for the code. But I may be able to with a bit more refactoring and a bit more, work really. It's a bit psychedelic, that, isn't it? The colours. So yeah, other than that, I fixed tons and tons and tons of bugs since the last bit. If I just click back to the start here, there was a really simple one that's been with this right from the very beginning that, again, I never worked it out, but I did notice the symptom of it, and that was, you see this text here where it says alone, look at the O, yeah? The old version of this, and I'm not sure if I've got one I can show you, but what was happening, it was stretched by 1 pixel just on the O. The O was like 1 pixel wider than it is on the image, and it drove me nuts. Every time I saw that, I was like, how does that make any sense? It's like you look at the bitmap, it's 160 by 102, and when you look at it in any kind of graphics package, you know, I don't know, Windows Photo Viewer, JASC, GIMP, whatever, it's perfect. The O is the size it is there now, but the way it was displaying, it was stretched just by 1 extra pixel. It was just like a little bit wider, and it was so visible. You noticed it. And what that was is the scale. When you do scaling of images, you have to set the I think it goes between 0 as a negative value, I think, and it goes up to 100 in hex, but some of the documentation I'd read said it was at FF. So of course everything was set to FF, so it was not quite scaled to the full size. It was just a tiny little bit more, or it might be more. I think if you go less than that, it goes up, and if you go past it, it goes the other way. Yeah, so that's all it was. It just took me ages to work it out, and then I noticed it did the same thing in the other things I'd worked on as well. In fact, let's just close that. I'll show you one of them now. This is probably not the latest version. If I just save that, we'll do close solution, jack attack. I'm hoping this works. This is, again, I've not worked on this in 7 or 8 years. So if you ever saw jack attack on the C64, this is what this was going to be, a rewrite of that on the Atari Lynx. And this one was going to be dedicated to Jack Tramiel, actually, if that's how you say his name. I was going to stick a photo in there, Jack, on the credits or something. But anyway, you can see, if you've seen the C64 version, that will, hang on, I've reset that. That will look just like the C64 version, the way that everything drops down. You can see I went with the custom font here, instead of using the built-in fonts that I've used with the Alien. And that's the next thing, one of the final things I need to do with Alien, actually, is do something like this, where I have my own font, and I do all my own text handling. Instead of using the string functions, we've got the values there, well, a lot of them now in in those little assembly files I showed you before. It would be relatively easy now for me to create my own, well, I'll say relatively, it's going to take some time, and to create my own font, I need to do like this, all the different letters, all the numbers, all the symbols, put them in ASCII order, and then have my own little routines to just blip the stuff as it's needed. It's probably going to be more efficient in a few different ways. But anyway, you can see that works, and you can actually drag and push the blocks around, just like the original. Yeah, so I got quite far with this, but there was a weird bug. Let me see if I can, flip screen there. There was a weird bug. I think you can kill yourself. Yeah, you can. So you can, this, in all intents and purposes, is just like the C64 version. If you try and press the fire button and push towards a block, the block above comes down. That's correct. You can push and pull. Yeah, you can push and pull to the left. There was a bug, and it might relate to when blocks are falling. I think it's something to do with, if I just push that way. Yeah, I can pull that back, jump over there. Yeah, if we just wait for that block to come down, there's some really weird things, like as you push the block, as the block was falling, it didn't, look, it's disappeared. So it's like, and I was looking at that, and it was like, oh, my head's melting. It's like, how, and obviously it's just a timing thing. It's obviously, as the block is updating, it's going down before my movement sideways or something. But the thing was, you see, my code was checking, is the block above the position we're about to move into? If so, stop. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense. That's the thing. It's like, it doesn't make sense if you've got code to check it's above and it's not in front, yet somehow it still allows it. And that's where I got cheesed off with it. But that is nearly finished. The only things I had to do on this now was design all the level layouts, which is pretty easy because you can just look at the C64 version to get the layouts and the colours of the blocks, and you get little enemies, don't you? Get those little spinning round things, and I've got some of the code in place for those, because those just literally, they spawn. Say there's one up here, it just goes down the screen and it bounces and goes back up, then moves across a bit, bounce, move back up, and all it's got to do is take into account the positions of the blocks. If it lands on you, it kills you. Dead easy stuff. I got all the scoreboard working, the timer, the delays, as you saw. If I reset that again. Yeah, the floating platforms up there, like you can. I'm not sure if I can get up to that one. I might be able to push that one that way. Pull, push, pull, push. Yeah, I can't get up to that one. It's going to knock that off. And that one's a bit too high. Let's just try that again. See if see, I keep pressing the wrong keys here to flip it. Let's just see if I can get the one on the left. I don't think I can get that high. No, I can't. In theory, I could push these over that way. Oh no, you see one disappeared there, look. But anyway, you can, even though I've got this map laid out this way, you can get on top of there and get the bonus of the bricks not there. I've just tested with all different layouts here. You know, it's the same with the water. Things go into the war, you go into the war, and if a block falls on you like that, if you just let that fall, it'll squish him. So all that stuff works. It's just that bug. And again, this hasn't been optimized either. There's a lot of optimization could take place with this to make this a bit better. You can see the timer working there and everything. Let's have a look at comments, but you should see him get squished now. Dave, hi Plan C, hello Plan C, the repairs legend. Yes, he is done some fantastic repairs. Plan C, check Plan C's channel out. Jar, yeah, that's right, Jean-Michael Jar. So it just came to me then when you said that. Hey, did it squish me? I think it did. It may have just like reloaded. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, you can see that. That's that. Not sure if I've still got Lynx ops on. Oh yeah, that was that was my first one, and I tell you what, it's awful. Let's just try that. I might revisit it. I don't know. Is it start? I think I called it starter. That's the clue with the name. That doesn't work, does it? I've got the feeling I set up CC65 differently after I got that project working, so I can just try and run the executable, the cartridge file if I can find it. Files. Oh, hang on. Need to go into Handy again, don't we? Handy. Am I on the right? Yeah, I'm getting confused. There we go. Hang on, I've got multiple instances of Handy here now. File. Open. Yeah, I was going to do Kung Fu Master as well. That was another one I was going to do. I'm not sure if I got the graphics for that. 108 Stars was doing them. In fact, if you look at the Atari Age forum and you check out 108 Stars, you'll notice on his avatar, he's got a picture of one of the Kung Fu Master characters he'd redid. And I said Kung Fu Flash then. I've got Kung Fu Flash on the brain since that video. Where's it gone now? Starter. I hope there's a compiled binary. Yeah, there is. I don't know if this is going to work or not. There we go. Oh, yeah, it's cheesy, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, I have this little introduction thing here. He sticks the clip in the Uzi, and then he sticks that knife in, and it says "Hi" on the side there. It is pretty naff. And then this is kind of like Cabal. It shows you which stage you're on. Obviously, I've got 3 stages there that don't appear. And there was going to be a selection thing here. And you get this little guy with an Uzi. You can see like the hands holding an Uzi. It's pretty cheesy, isn't it? The graphics and the colours. Because the thing is, I went with like a really colourful palette here. It's like there's no art direction here. I don't know if there's sound. There might be like clicks and things. Died there, didn't there? So yeah, you may have seen that as a bit of homebrew. It's like to say my first bit of code here for the Lynx. And destructible stuff, like you can see that sign there. That's what I was aiming for, just like Cabal. Yeah, see the sign's gone now, isn't it? I think there might be grenades. I can't remember. Have I got the code working for grenades? What? Oh, there you go. One of them I did. It doesn't quite work, and I haven't got explosions on it. I might revisit that at some point. I don't know. I certainly would if we could get some better graphics, because these characters look awful. Let's just see if I can get to the second stage. I can't remember if there's anything a bit more detail with backgrounds and things. This is all drawn by me, which is why it looks like a Fisher Price Fisher Price game. This didn't make use of segments either. This is the nice thing about this. If I revisited this, I could do so much with it. I could add so much, many features and things, and make it so much more fluid. And yeah, if the graphics were better, it could be quite good. I can show you a bit of homebrew from Alex Thiessen here as well. I'm not sure if I think he released this. I think he released it. Hang on. Back. Oh. Adventure. Yeah, I think he did. Coded by LX, original by Norman B. Lancaster. So yeah, everyone's played Adventure, haven't they? You got the little character and you have to navigate the maze. I forgot what you look for. Is it a key? So yeah, that was a bit of homebrew he did. But he was working on a modern game that he got the permission and license to distribute on the Lynx. I forgot what it's called now. It's a bit like this, but with modern graphics, and you collect potions and weapons and armour and all that sort of stuff. It was on Steam for quite a while. It was an indie game, but like really nice graphics and really nice sound, and he got a percentage way through the Atari Lynx version. I just can't think what it was called. So yeah, it's quite basic. And the other one he did as well was as a bit of homebrew. This was all part of his tutorial, was Pitfall. I'm not sure I've got that on there actually. No, that's not on there at the moment. Anyway, you can see that some of the time. It just looks just like Pitfall. He's done a fantastic job. Anyway, back to the job in hand. Let me just check the comments. Probably going to get off soon, but I just want to do just a bit more testing, and then I'll get off. Evening Gadget, Retro Ralph, hi. My ears damaged. Oh yeah, I read that before. Another repairs, evening all. It's better than I can do. Oh, Banjo Guy Ollie. You've got to check out Banjo Guy Ollie's channel. And he's got a couple. Please post the names of them, Ollie. One of them, Surf and Sheds, is it? And that's where he does arcade. I think you do arcade stuff on there. So he's got like arcade pickups. You know, he picks up not just boards, like a whole cabinet, and then does restores and things on them, but also repairs of some more arcade cabinets, monitors, etc. It's a really, really good channel. I wish my graphics looked that good, lol. I still think it looks crap. That reminds me of a C64 game played many moons ago. Right, let's just go back. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember the right project. It's that one. There we go. So I'll show you what else I've done. There's so much I've done. It's hard to remember. Yeah, hiccups now. But I did add a how-to. You can see there how to play. One of the criticisms of this is people like, I don't know how to play it. It's so complex. So I added a basic tutorial here that shows you the first, the floors of the map, tells you what you got to do basically, and then it goes through, search for the items. If you see Jones, catch Jones with a cat box. Jones likes people. That may sound like a pointless statement there, but there's a clue in there actually. Weapons, laser pistol. So this is like a list of all the different weapons, things that will actually do damage to the alien. And then it talks about damage. I know you repair, rune damage. So as you can see, 100% rune damage will destroy the ship. Repair with a spanner. Fire and fighting causes damage. And then a bit about fire extinguishers. Extinguish fire before it spreads. Put out the fire with a fire extinguisher. Fire causes damage. That feels like a bit repetitive for the previous screen, doesn't it? But it's the same sort of thing. It needs to convey that same information. Room damage means self-destruct, airlocks, hypersleep shuttle won't work. 7 crew on board. 1 is an android. That's kind of ironic, isn't it? I only noticed that just now, is that Ash was the android in the film, wasn't he? And it's like one One is the android. Well, not necessarily on this, it's random. Ash isn't the android. You can blame it when it is the android by putting it in that mode, but I just think that's a pointless endeavour. Because you just take him straight to the airlock and blast him out of it. And then there's the sounds. Don't know if you can hear that. So it just explains what each of the sounds are that you may hear. It's kind of like if you think of a Mega Drive cart where you get a thing where test the sounds. There we go, that's how I test the sounds. Each person can hold 2 items, and then we've got a picture of the 2 icons there below the avatar as normal. Only 1 item can be used at once. And then a bit about the rooms. Only 3 people can fit into a room, and you've got the number there that changes between either not at all, 1 or 2 to indicate how many are in the room. Safety numbers, yeah, so that's just a bit of general information, because people may not realise, as I've mentioned before, that the more people got in a room, the better chance of attack and a better chance of defence, and the alien will flee if its health is low, certainly when there's 3 people attacking it at once. A bit about morale, so yeah, morale's important. Crew, alien, items, health and events affect morale. Room indicators, again, these were pretty cryptic. If you didn't see my previous videos, you might wonder what those are when you're playing it. So yeah, one indicates dead body in the room, the other one indicates the grill status, is it open or closed. And then the final bit there is the escape shuttle fits 3 crew and Jones. I don't think there's anything else needed. There's quite a lot more to the game, like for example there's the infirmary. You can use that, and obviously there's a computer room you can interact with now, but they're just I guess, how much do you tell a player? Because I thought about the controls. You can have a screen where, you press left on the D-pad to cycle between the live players, you press right on the D-pad to highlight the person that's been attacked by the alien, you press up and down on the D-pad to select between all of the crew, just to navigate through them. But you can just work that out within a minute or 2 of playing it. You can just press up and down and go, oh, it's going around the crew. And then you can press left and go, oh, it's only going around the live crew. And then when you get attacked and you accidentally press right, you go, oh, it's gone straight to the person who got attacked. So I don't see any point in that being as part of the tutorial. Well, let's just see if that's working now the way it's intended. I don't know if we tested it that way. Yeah, and then if we quit straight out, so Brett's logging in. Down, exit. Yeah, that worked okay, and it didn't crash. Let's just move Dallas in there, make sure it comes up with Dallas as logged on. I want to do more with that though. I want to do more with the computer. Yeah. So airlock's damaged. Narcissus is damaged. It'd be a good idea to just check if that's actually working, because that's something I've not done. Let's try and repair one of them. Just try and find a spanner. There's a spanner. That was good. Just take Lambert to the computer room. Yeah, I'd show you something else I did as well. I've done lots of small things again that just make sense. So if I move to the grill, in that last video I was like, when the alien's on the screen, you don't know whether you're in the vent system. You don't know whether you've gone through the grill into the vent. Well, now it says duct. Well, it does when the messages, emergency messages are not popping up and stuff. There you go, ducts. So yeah, it's absolutely clear. If the alien was there attacking me, I know I'm inside the ducts. So that was a simple thing. So many bugs fixed though since that last video. Right, let's just go find Lambert again. It's a lot faster as well. Oh god, the aliens turned up now. Oh, please leave me alone while I repair the damage. There we go. So we'll let her repair that. So room damage 22%. So as soon as it gets to 0, the airlock should be... Oh god, that alien's not going to leave me alone now, is it? Let's move her into the computer room. Move someone else out. Oh, there are 2 people there. That'll do. Just attack it a bit, it might get scared. Doubt it. Yeah, so yeah, you can press right on the D-pad to see it's actually attacking him. And that will change depending on who's hitting it and stuff. Like, now he's attacking him, but it might not be in a set. There you go, it's attacking him now. But you can just, you know, just go up, down. I'm pretty tired. I'll tell you what, let's just move them away from that and then I can go repair it. Move. Mess. Oh, he's not got the spanner, it's Lambert that's got the spanner. Yeah, just trying to lure the alien away and then I can fix that blooming thing. Yeah, it's on Dallas now. So, there we go, let's just move back out there. Damage. I've even got so short of bytes now that in certain parts of the code, if you add one line of text, one line of code, you know, to do something like, I don't know, set self-destruct automatically or put the character's health down to 1, it won't compile. This is, you're out of bytes. It's insane. I remembered Gauntlet on the Lynx and Clax. Yeah, I was not fond of Gauntlet because wasn't it Gauntlet 3 or something? It was, I don't know, it was just a bit weird the way they did it. It just felt nothing like the original games. You know, the Atari had the license, didn't they? They wrote it, didn't they? So they could have done a really good Gauntlet port on the Lynx, but yeah, for whatever reason they decided to do something that was nothing like it. Anyway, let's just repair damage. Oh. That's just killed one of them, isn't it? Yeah, it's killed Dallas. Hopefully it won't come back this way. Ugh. I'm just ignoring it. I'm just going to repair. I've got 7% repairing to do. Worst it happen, it can kill me and then drop my spanner. Oh, it's gone away, look. It's obviously scared off by the repair noises. Oh, there we go. Repaired. 0% damage. So if we go back to him and we have a look at the computer. And we log in. Status. Yeah, airlock's okay. Self-destruct okay. So let's just take who's got the spanner? Lambert. So the shuttle and repair the shuttle. Just make sure that's all right. Go to the mess. Oh, there's a tracker there. Grab that. Yeah, so I just feel it plays a lot better with all the changes I've done. It's a lot more, you know, bug-free. I'm not saying there are no bugs in it, but with all the work I've done, I'm pretty sure I've got rid of anything I can find. I've spent so long on this. Up to the next deck. So I think what I might do, I might push out 1.3 as it is now, and then there might be a 1.4, I don't know. You know, I really do want to try and expand the computer room bit a bit if I can. Right, so, God, that's quite damaged, isn't it? 46%. It gets damaged a random amount depending on the difficulty when you start this. When you play it on easy, it might just be a few percent, or it might even get damaged at all. And obviously the repair is a random amount as well, you know, you can... One thing I was just thinking actually, I might actually, now I've got the stats there in the computer room which shows you from the movie what the characteristics are of the characters. You know, like they've got, I don't know, a certain amount of mental ability, physical ability. I can tweak it so that actually those match. I never thought of that. But I will have to then playtest it to make sure it's... yeah, it doesn't pull it too far out of, you know, being able to actually complete it. And That's one of the problems with having multiple difficulty levels. It's like I've got 5 difficulty levels, I think, and I can understand why some people just go, I'm developing a game, I'm going to go easy, hard, that's it. Or even just one difficulty. You've got a lot less to contend with, haven't you? Some games it works easier than others. Retro Game Revival, I'm back. I'll watch the video later to see what I've missed. No worries. Fabio Santos evening. The menu reminds me of Electro Cop, where you play mini games and unlocking the doors. Yeah, it does. Yeah, kind of wish I still had my Lynx, but both have Evercade Lynx collection cards. Lynx was a system I never experienced. The Atari Lynx is fantastic. There's so many cool arcade ports on it. A lot of the the first party titles from Atari were just great, really. I'll get there in a minute. Yeah, I think the other thing I want to try and add in, if I can, as well as some stuff for the computer room, is an actual alien death scene. I don't know. Maybe with a sample again. It needs something, because one of the things I found is you can be fighting the alien, and suddenly it goes, oh, here's Earth, you've done it, you've beat the alien. And it just feels a bit of an anti-climax. And I was thinking there's 2 things you could do there, there's 2 different things. One of them is, I don't know, showing the alien, like, I don't know, I could take the image and modify it a bit, the one of the alien, and stretch it, squash it, rearrange it, draw a few bits of its body or something on a pile on the floor, with some acid on it or something, and then it looks like it's dead. That's a really easy thing to do with my lack of graphical skills. And similarly, I was thinking about the airlock. If you were to blow out the airlock, it'd be pretty easy to have a couple of doors, like, I don't know, you could have an image, just a couple of doors, and then you need the alien just in a different pose, where its arms are out or something. Just different from the way it is now. Maybe its head looking straight forward. That, again, would be fairly easy for me to bodge, I think. And then with scaling, you could literally scale the airlock towards you a little bit so that the doors come like that as the alien gets smaller, and I don't know, maybe even rotate it, but you could scale it out and have a sound for that. That would be quite cool. If those few things were in there with a little bit more content in the computer room, I would feel like it's probably as good as it's going to get, really. And obviously the font stuff as well. It's like I'm probably going to revisit that. So instead of having this built-in text here, and that might be the answer. If I do that next, that might free up the space for the other things. But I'll probably push out this version. Anyway, let's just do that repair. We're nearly there, and then I think I'm going to get off because it's 8:45. I've waffled on so long now. The other interesting thing as well about optimization, it's a bit like Dennis was saying last time, is that you can optimize in one way and you lose in another. So what I mean by that, I was talking about these strings before. That's where we started off right at the beginning, where I put all these strings this way here with a bit of assembly, just the byte values there, sticks them in memory. We haven't got the C overhead of having the variable declared somewhere and it instantiating it or initializing it and all that sort of stuff, which was like 3 times the size. The downside is because you've got to use a pointer and index that pointer, with one of the other registers to say where, start, because this is all one big long string, effectively. This whole file is like string, 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 with null terminators in between them. And as soon as you go that approach, you're having to pass that pointer to say where to, not the pointer, but the index as well as the pointer, so that it can operate with that string, and that ends up using more memory than just putting a fixed string in there. So it's like you gain in one way because you're able to store that string somewhere where you want your own segment, rather than it being stuck in the standard row data segment where everything else goes. But then the code you're using to interact with that string grows in size. And it's a similar thing we were talking about in the previous video about pointers as well, that you can change code to use pointers to be more optimal and stuff, and that uses more memory, even though it's faster. I'm nearly there, 6%. Gosh, she's taken a long time to fix that last 6%, isn't she? It's like me fixing that conservatory. Still haven't finished it. I've still got a bit of wood out there to go and fix this weekend. Hoping to do that this weekend. There we go, 1%. 1% more. Yep, I knew of RJ Michael. Yeah. One of my links is upstairs is signed by RJ Michael. Alex Thisson. I think I called him Thiessen. There's no, it doesn't. I don't think you said that. I think it's Thisson. Alex Thisson. I think he might be Dutch actually. But yeah, he went to one of those expos there, one of the last ones in Germany. I think it was like, I don't know, 25th anniversary or 30th anniversary. Forget how old the Lynx is now. And RJ Michael and David Needle were there, and I think one or either of them, maybe both of them, I don't know, signed it in a white, permanent, a silver permanent marker. Right, that's repaired. So if we go back to whoever's in the computer room, use computer. If we have a look at the stats, status. Yeah, there we go. So the airlocks have been damaged again, probably because of the fighting that went on in that room. That's the thing. So self-destruct's okay. Narcissus, okay. What else did it do as well? The other thing is it did on successful arrival back to Earth, you actually arrive at Earth now. So instead of the Earth just appearing, you actually, it starts off small and it zooms into the screen. So I did that as well. There's been lots of small little things like that. I don't think the layout's changed much since that last video, but lots of stuff under the hood has changed. Right, let's just go back to the main menu. So I don't think there's anything else to show you there. I think we've pretty much covered everything. Obviously, I've just not really talked much about some of the stuff I've been doing other than the stuff to do with the strings. This stuff here has changed a lot. We've got, in fact, there's a code block not listed there. Let's just have a quick look at that. If we go to game.map. Yeah, that game.map comes as an output of the link, I think. It just shows you how much space is actually used in these segments and stuff, these blocks of code. Yeah, you can tell I've not updated it for a while because there's quite a lot of it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 things there, have we? 3, 6, yeah. How about that? So there's 2 new segments I added there, I think. Oh, there's one at least. This number 4. Yeah, and number 4. I think is the computer room. Let's just check that. Code 4 road area. I can't type. Yeah, ship status. Oh, it's just ship status and the strings, that's right. So in that one is ship status. So just that specific screen in the computer room for showing the ship status, that's its own little function in that area. And the majority of that, you can see that's quite large actually, got 3111 bytes. The majority of the space taken up there, I think, is the music actually. Yeah, let's just put track 2. I think it's called track 2. Let's have a look at that. Track 2.awesome. Yeah, there it is. Code 4 road area. So, yeah, it's not very well named. We've got a music segment there. That's mostly music, but it's got some code in it as well. But then I've also got another segment down here. We've got 2G. Let's have a look at the... Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, let's just update those ones because those sizes will have probably changed. That one's not. Code 2 will have done, I think. So it's 3087. Yeah, now it's 3124. They'll have grown, if anything. They shrunk quite considerably and then ended up getting quite a lot larger. Code 3. Has that one changed? Was 1715, 1729, yeah. So that's those ones. Those ones shouldn't have changed, they're the same. Let's just have a look at these sub segments here. These are the smaller ones. So most of these shouldn't have changed. So that one hasn't. 699. Then we got 966. The start addresses have changed, but I'm not really interested in that actually. 816 66 99. That one's different, isn't it? Oh, what happened there? Pasted it twice. Yeah, the other thing I'll just do is just copy that start address to those, so I don't have to keep typing the bloody thing in. Yeah, so got that one. That one hasn't changed, and then I've got a new one there. Let's just check what's in code 2H. Code 2H row data. Oh, yeah. Crew dossier. Crew dossier. Draw cursor. There might be something else in there, I think. I wonder where computer is, because that's not where I expected it. Computer. It's in 2H. Oh yeah, I didn't see it's there, isn't it? Just above, below that. So, oh, what am I doing? I can just type it. I copied the wrong thing, didn't I? Monitor. Not monitor. Where am I getting monitor from? Yeah. It's not a good name for a method, is it? But anyway, it made sense to me at the time. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to go and get something to eat now, I think, and perhaps go watch a bit of TV. We'll just check chat or any questions or anything. As I say, I'll probably upload that to Atari Age in a minute, and there might be a 1.4 for the other stuff. It'd be a good opportunity, I think, just to get people to test the heck out of it, because I can't spend any more time just now testing it. I've spent so long on it. The other day I looked at code for an unfinishing game from the 90s. I don't understand what I was trying to do. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's funny when you go and look back at stuff you did years in the past. It's always this thing in hindsight. There's so much I would have changed about this, and I have changed, but I'm going to have to do the same things to Jack Attack if I continue with that, and I'm going to have to do the same things to Lynx Ops and other bits and pieces I've got. Is there any way to make the Lynx screen larger on the screen? We don't need to see the whole thing. I don't think so. Let me just let's just see. I think hang on. I think it's maximised. I think it'll do. Hang on, lost handy now. Yeah, it'll do four. Zoomed. Yeah, that looks the same to me. 3 times screen. It's marginally bigger, isn't it? Yeah, you can go full screen, but then you can't get back. It's like, that's the problem. And last time I did that, I had to go into the registry and delete the handy registry entries to get it to default back. I couldn't get it out of it. No key combination seemed to work. It's just like stuck full screen always. Right, okay, I'm getting off. So thank you very much for joining. I'm sorry if I missed anything. I'll catch up and have a re-review of after, just in case someone did ask something and I haven't answered. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good evening, and I will catch you in the next video.